hear a thing.
Yeah, I don't hear it either. We're not hearing it. Oh no.
Is there something out here?
Yeah, let me check.
I'm just telling people in case they're watching.
Yeah, I'll figure it out here.
It says mute.
Where does it say mute?
Scarlet 181B USB mute. Crap, it's 701.
Drake, you're live. I'm just telling you that people can hear you. Oh gosh.
Hang on, we can't hear the audio yet.
Hang on.
Something's.
But it's you can hear us live.
Aaron says you can. Okay. Aaron says you can hear fine. Great. I
don't.
Hang on, just a sec. We're gonna. What is all this? All this. Can we?
Drake, I will put that down and I will figure out why we can't hear ourselves in the
Okay.
headphones. Just give me a second.
All right. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron, for that feedback. Oh, clunkety clunks. Oh well. Anything I need to do or just start?
Just go.
Okay, good. Here we start. Hey, we have been in 1 Corinthians 13, 14, and this last week or so, and we have reached 1 Corinthians 15. The issue in 1 Corinthians 15 is the resurrection of Christ. Paul was touring the empire. He mentions the best explanation of Jesus' resurrection outside of the Gospels and the defense of it, the apologetics of it, in 1 Corinthians 15.
Do you hear now?
Because, something's changed.
Somebody was messing with my buttons over here yesterday.
Okay, they got bumped.
No, you were messing with them.
Yeah.
I watched you do it.
I don't mess with buttons, but I guess I moved them.
But that's okay.
Okay, good. Now I hear you.
I can hear you
now we
too.
can all hear each other. Yay, hurrah,
So
hurrah.
don't touch the buttons.
Don't touch the buttons. Yes, I'm sitting in the cockpit of a jet here that you can't see, but there are literally...
I need to find a new place for
There are
you
literally
to hang out.
close to 100 buttons here, and I bumped some of them yesterday when I was...
I should put you in here, but there are good cameras out there.
Yeah, oh well.
I'm in the bad camera. I'm excited to hear what you have to share, hun.
So the resurrection, it's what loomed over the entire faith. It's what had been built up to since Genesis chapter 3. 4,000 years in the waiting. God is making a statement. Hey, if you follow me, death, the looming cloud that hangs over everybody, death is defeated. Death will not hang on to you. I like the way Jesus says after Lazarus rises from the dead, and that just happened a month prior to this. He says, take the grave clothes off of him and let him go. Death had him. Death isn't an incidental, oh, well, I guess we've reached it. No, death is a force. Death has fish hooks on it. You don't get off this thing. Larry Ellis, the CEO of Oracle, love cannot die. Very good point. Larry Ellis, the CEO of Oracle, he just said, and I'm not blowing secrets, he just said this on national media this last year. He says, hey, I'm never going to die. He has that much faith in computers and what they're going to learn and what they're going to find. Ted Williams.
If computers can't die, then why do we need a new one every 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, no kidding. Ted Williams' body is cryogenically held at 100 below zero something.
That's creepy.
Yeah, on ice in some lab in California. The entire realm of philosophy says we've got everything figured out. We've got it all charted. We do have one problem, though. Death. That's such a big problem that it kind of cancels your entire field if you think you're going to re-outthink God and create your own entire grid where you live forever. We are going to be forever. I wouldn't call turning your back on God life, though. That's not eternal life. That's eternal sorrow. Death, it hangs over everybody. Genesis ends, and Jacob has just died. Joseph has just died. And God is saying, I told you what I warned you about in Genesis 2. If you eat this fruit, you're going to die. God uses people that obey him. People that can't obey him, he's like, I don't know what to do with you. Well, they don't know what to do with you in the military if you can't obey. If you're on a football team, you need to run your plays. And if you can't run your plays and you won't run your plays and you don't run you got to leave the team. Peyton Manning freaked me out. He knew his plays. And he knew everybody else's assignment, all 11 guys, for all of the hundreds of plays. The mind of that, oh my goodness. And when somebody didn't do what they said, they got a talking to by Peyton. And it fascinates me. You've got to do what I say, God says. Just don't eat the fruit. It couldn't be more simple. And they couldn't obey. The disobedient, and it's in Revelation, the disobedient, God says, out you go, I can't keep you. So anyhow, this death looms. Because
hey, Graham.
Everyone.
Hey, Graham Dale.
Graham Dale, our gem friend from, I can't wait to see you again, Graham.
He's making a comment about being cryogenically frozen. He says it sounds good here. It's 35 Celsius over there.
35 Celsius. What is that Fahrenheit? I don't know how hot.
It's hot.
Oh, that's hot.
That's so hot. It's too hot.
Too hot, babe.
Hot, baby.
Yeah. So and I can tell, as I was prepping for this today, I thought, okay, resurrection, 1 Corinthians 15, we'll do it in a day, and then we'll go on. But so
the whole chapter is based upon Paul talking to the Corinthians about the resurrection?
Yeah. So I did the backstory, and then I thought, I've got to give the backstory to this, otherwise it's a theoretical race through, and that is the resurrection stories in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So I thought, okay, well, I'll do that in a day, and then I went through that yesterday, and then I said, I don't even know if I'm going to get through the Matthew part, because the resurrection stories, they're harmonious. They're not unison. They're harmonious.
It's a stronger argument because they're not in unison.
Yeah, and I love what gets said in this little rundown right here on page 502. If my screen just went whack, honey. Can you?
Did you tap the
screen?
There
we go. Okay, it's back. Yeah, I bumped the...
Drake, yeah, you really did bump something. Hang on. Stand by.
We look like we're back now.
I think we are. Wow.
Pouring Graham a lemon.
I really need to put you in a different spot.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
We'll get this worked out. We're like Hollywood in the mid-1930s. They were still working things out.
Oh.
New York had it figured out in like the mid-20s. Silent films. It says this about Jesus' resurrection. If the 4 accounts of the resurrection had all been identical, we might suspect that the 4 gospel writers all used a single agreed-upon story.
Mm-hmm.
Right after an incident, an accident, and the police are coming, you got to testify. If something shady's going on, these 2 or 3 or 7 guys, okay, here's what we're going to say. Here's what we're going to say. The disciples didn't do that. They just gave their accounts.
For a while, they didn't
afterward.
know what to say. They were running, those guys.
And you're going to see how it's amazing to me. We talked about how women perceive things differently last week, and the 1 Corinthians 14 thing may have rattled some. Didn't mean to, but Paul said it, not me. And it was for women's protection, by the way. You have these harmonious stories. As it is, the 4 accounts bear all the marks of eyewitness accounts of an overwhelming experience. At a glance at the accounts as presented in the 4 Gospels shows how different the perspective of each is. And these differences make it more true, because four different people can look at the same thing and they'll give different perspectives on the same thing, and when you piece them together,
I would say, Drake, that it is true. It's for those who haven't seen it. It's a stronger argument.
Yeah,
that it is true.
Yeah, it does strengthen the argument.
We know that it's true, right? But
yeah. So, dear, can you put up that little chart, that photo that I sent
wow!
you?
In all of this excitement, let me go get it. It's on my phone, which is in the other room. I'll grab it.
Oh, okay. Well, while she's doing that, so we have these things, and all four gospel accounts make it clear that Jesus appeared to the females first, the four women. We have different lists of who the four women are, and why is he trained these disciples? He worked so fastidiously with these 12 to make sure they got it. Mary, Martha, Mary Magdalene, the other Mary, Joanna, these other ladies, the wife of Cusa, they were there too. And it was like they were auditing the class, I guess. Totally all there, totally hearing everything. Jesus never said to them, "Hey, ladies, go pound sand, go look for snipes or something.
Go look for snipes.
Go see if you can build a bonfire out of lifesavers or something." He never told them that. So they're hearing everything too. But he's really determined that these 12 get it, and they got real close. Peter, James, and John, those three really got it. They got everything. The Transfiguration, he just took those three, and that's not the only time that happened. But there's the resurrection, and we put that up there.
Hang on, I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller there. Here you go.
But because I want you to, and you can press freeze frame on this, you can share this, you can hit pause, you can stare at this.
We can even put it in the comments.
Yeah, we can put it in the comments. But yesterday, I've known about the resurrected Christ for 55 years now, maybe even a little more. But I worked through this list for hours yesterday, and I compared the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John things, and I found myself in tears all over the place.
Aww.
It was just like...
Well, it's such a powerful story.
Oh, my Lord. And a lot of these documents...
Or a historical account, as some would say. It's not a story. This is historical account.
A lot of these documents, it's one page long. How does this one-page document change the world? And it did. Matthew. That's it's easy to forget. That's why Jesus says, "Read it again." God, the Holy Spirit, hey, read it again. Read it again. Somebody witnessed to a non-Christian star. I've been in a movie where the non-Christian is played by a Christian, and the Christian is played by a non-Christian. They're
actors.
They're actors.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a very prominent movie, Chariots of Fire, where the lead role, the lead guy, a Christian, is played by a non-Christian, Ian Charleston. He died of AIDS about 10 years after Chariots of Fire. Somebody told him, he says, "Ian, you really need to read this Bible thing." And he says, "Okay." And he read through the Bible after he filmed Chariots of Fire. And he says, "Well, what do you think?" He says, "Not for me. It's not for you. It's not for you. This resurrection is everything. This resurrection is for everybody." It's so stirring. And so Matthew, he puts 3 columns. He has this 28 chapter book. He had a front row view of Jesus. He has 3. Of
course, he didn't put the chapters numbers in.
No, the chapter numbers are put in later. But he puts in, it's 2 columns about the resurrection. And the whole world is shaken forever because of this document. Mark, Luke, and John, same thing. Oh my goodness. So I've got to go through I'm going to go through the Matthew thing, and I may break down to even just read it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Story time. I mean, historical account time.
After the Sabbath. Now, by that may, on our calendar, that means Sunday morning.
So this is Matthew 28.
Matthew 28. It's just Matthew 28. So we may get to 1 Corinthians in several days. We have a great guest who is living a dream. We'll have him on Friday. We want to talk about this tomorrow as well. And I think we'll resume this on Monday. But after the Sabbath, Matthew 28, at dawn, on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, I think that's Jesus' mother. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to look at the tomb.
There's sure no shortages of Marys. Yeah.
They went to look at the tomb. Where are you going? Oh, we're going to go look at the tomb. Look at the tomb? Just look at the tomb?
Check it out.
These ladies were so sad they could hardly function. How do they think? What are they doing flying out of bed at dawn? It's just sleep. How do you sleep? How do you sleep? They're going to look at the tomb. These pictures of these young wives of their soldier husband where they're just sleeping in the graveyard. They can't leave the tomb of their newly deceased husband. There was a guy that sat next to me in school. His 2-year-old died. And it was he made a mistake. He made a mistake. If he'd have been totally on, he would have been able to avert this thing. And the guilt was tearing his own rib cage to pieces, the way you tear apart a cooked chicken. And he was at the tomb just clutching this thing. And he took his own life. They're going. Do you catch this? They're going to look at the tomb. They have no idea what's coming. There was excuse me.
Yeah, they were mourning. It was mourning. They were sad.
This is what my yesterday was like.
Wow. You're so moved, honey. Like me the other day. I couldn't stop crying.
Yeah, there was a violent earthquake. I've been in earthquakes. You can... it's a shake, but it doesn't, start knocking couches over. There was a violent earthquake. For an angel of the Lord came down from heaven, and going to the tomb, rolled back the stone and sat on it. This is overload, folks.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
His appearance was like lightning. To who? To these ladies. To these ladies. His appearance was like lightning. You can't stare at lightning. It's like, whoa, what is this? Who is this? What's going on? His appearance was like lightning. And his clothes were white as snow. They weren't able to make clothing that white. We're in the pre-bleach era, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
The guards were so afraid of him that they shook and became like dead men. This resurrection is true. The Corinthians are starting to doubt it already. The resurrection was just 23, 25 years at the most in the past. 25 years ago was 1995. I'm talking to you this today in 2020. So you can't say, well, 1995, that was a while ago. Yeah, that's old news. It probably didn't even exist. That's what the Corinthians were doing to the resurrection. So we got to go back through this again. The guards were so afraid that they shook and became like dead men. The angel said to the woman, "Do not be afraid, For I know that you are looking for Jesus, who was crucified. He is not here. He has risen, just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has risen from the dead and is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him. Now, I've told you. Did your mother have to ever repeat something? I told you.
I'm only saying this once.
Through all history now, I have told you. We're reading this today, 1,991 years later. And God has said to us, He's risen from the dead. I have told you. Matthew just wrote a document down, so the whole world could know. So did Mark, Luke, and John. So the women hurried away from the tomb. The women hurried away from the tomb. Another one of the accounts, we're going to get to this as soon as we can. It says Mary Magdalene ran. Are you sitting down?
I am.
This is the only incident in the Bible where it is assured to dictate that a female ran.
The lady ran.
Women did not participate in the Olympics back then. The Olympics were in Corinth back then, and these were all men-only events. That is so undignified for a woman to run like she's being chased like a wolf. Oh, come on, don't do that to ladies. That's how they perceived it. So the women hurried away from the tomb. I looked everything. I looked at the whole Bible. I looked up the word ran, run, running. There's no other incident in the Bible of a female running. These ladies are beside themselves. So the women hurried away from the tomb, afraid, yet filled with joy, and ran. This is awesome. And ran to tell his disciples. Why does God appear to the ladies first?
Because they went to the tomb first.
I thought the New Testament was telling women to cork it, shut up, you have no say in this new institution. Really? Why does Jesus appear to them first? Because these women so loved him with a pure and holy heart. They are crying. They are overcome with joy, afraid yet filled with joy. I have 5 daughters. One of them is my blood daughter, but they're all my daughters. Don't try to tell me different. Don't give me the stepdad jive. I don't step on them. They don't step on me. I would be so amused when they were teenagers in middle school and onward, when they would get with their friends, and right when they would meet, their faces would be 4 inches apart, 6 inches apart with their friends, and they're so happy to be together, they just start screaming. And I was like, okay, that's one way to greet each other. When the guys would get together,
until the chest bump thing came
in. They kind of just grunt. He talks to these ladies first because these ladies loved him just purely for him. The disciples thought, hey man, we get with this guy, he's gonna, and for a lot of the 3 years, John really got it really well, but the others, they got it eventually. Okay, well listen, we're gonna do this, and then when he's in charge and he'll be the Messiah, then we'll be the top generals, and they're conjuring. Jesus comes to those who love him just for him. He comes to them the quickest. He comes to all who call upon him. but he comes to those who just love him for him. And so he appears to them first. And I'm going to say this, but I don't joke this. I heard this in college. There's 3 ways to communicate. Telephone, telegraph, and tell a woman.
That's terrible.
Yeah, this is like, ladies get together. Ladies talk. Ladies spread the news. Ladies spread some news that maybe they shouldn't share. But they do. And it's the way things are. What I don't like it was when ladies go silent. Like, oh God, there's a storm coming, bud. I think it's a kick when they get together and just chat away like a big bird festival. I think it's awesome. He's got to tell the ladies first, because they're going to go nuts with this news. One of the accounts, Peter goes to the tomb, looks in, and he wonders, okay, what's going on now? The women hurried away, filled with joy, and ran to tell his disciples. Suddenly Jesus met them. Greetings! They came to him, clasped his feet, and worshipped him. When he appears to some of the disciples, to the 11 disciples, Judas was dead. When he appears to the 11 disciples, it says they believed, but some doubted. What is with you guys? Who would you appear to first? Those are going to scream and be elated, or those are going to go, well, I don't know, this could be a rematerialized ghost here. You could have done that.
Yeah, some people were worried about that.
Then Jesus said to them, do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. Didn't he appear to them back in the upper room? Remember, Matthew is writing to the Jews in Jerusalem. Matthew was a tax collector for the Romans, and he would gather money from the Jews, and he would divulge the taxes, disperse the taxes from there. Matthew had his sentiments. He had wonderful times in Galilee with Jesus. They go to Jerusalem, and they kill him.
Yeah.
And Matthew says, goes to the map, go to Galilee. Don't try to meet here again. Just go to Galilee. Where it isn't, but it isn't the first place they met. But Matthew focuses on that. 11 of the disciples were from Galilee. One was from the south, and it was Judas Iscariot. While the women were on their way, some of the guards went into the city and reported to the chief priests everything that had happened. These guards saw the resurrection. They knew it was true. They knew it was true. So they go to the chief priests and tell them. Chief priests met and devised a plan. They gave the soldiers a large sum of money. I looked up money and what's implied in this word by meaning large sum. Judas is given 30 pieces of silver. That bought an entire plot of land. They gave these guards what we would call somewhere in the realm of 175,000, and it was less than $250,000 in our money terms. I don't want to use words that don't make any sense, but it was more than 175,000 they gave these guards. This is money out of the temple treasury to divulge the news of God. They take that money and give these guards money so that they would squash the news of God. Do you realize the bastardizing of an offering here? Oh my goodness, that's like taking money from a church treasury and opening a palm reading in a witchcraft den right across the street. And the pastor's thinking, well, some people won't follow God, so we want to get the money that do follow, that fight God too, we'll get their money too.
Total misappropriation of
Good
funds.
grief. Good
Totally,
grief.
totally.
And it says, and so they took the money, and this story has been widely circulated among the Jews to this very day.
Of course, that didn't really help their cause to give them money.
How do you keep a lie like this alive? Jesus, after this, meets the 11, according to Matthew, in Galilee, and gives the Great Commission that still rings true and is a dictate worldwide today. In a world where 500,000 Muslims are coming to Christ monthly. 6 million Muslims a year. And that's an old stat. I think it's faster now. Communists in Asia are coming to Christ at runaway rates. They can't even build stadiums fast enough to handle the worship services. I am elated to see that there's worship services in downtown Portland, downtown Seattle, downtown Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Atlanta, and New York City. Okay, we can't meet in churches? All right, we'll meet in the wide open.
We'll have a peaceful protest.
And the government can't stop this. Our time is up, and I got through about 1/10 of what I had. 24 hours ago, I thought I'd get through 10 times this, but I just went through Matthew. But that's Matthew. And you saw that chart. Go back to that. Share this. The Lord bless you and keep you as you live for our resurrected Christ, who has conquered everything, including conquered death. Death has no haunt over you. The Lord bless you. See you tomorrow.